This week's Parsha, which begins the book of Exodus, Shmot, describes how the Jewish people came to be persecuted and enslaved by the Egyptians. And the Torah tells us, V'yakom melech hadash al Mitzrayim, a new king arose over Egypt, Asher lo yadat Yosef, who didn't know Joseph. And the Midrash wonders at this. Efshar shelo hikir et Yosef? Is it possible that Pharaoh didn't know Joseph? Even if it was a new king who did not personally know Joseph, but certainly he had heard of Joseph. Joseph was famous. He was a celebrity in Egypt. He was the one who had saved the country from the terrible famine, the 7 years of famine, had provided for everybody. He was the viceroy of Egypt. He carried with him the signet ring of the Pharaoh. So how is it possible, ask our sages, that this Pharaoh didn't know Joseph? And they tell us something rather remarkable. That the advisors of Pharaoh came to him and said, the Jewish people, the Hebrew slaves, are increasing at an incredible, phenomenal rate. And this is a danger to us local Egyptians. This is a famous conspiracy theory that people have, that the immigrants are always going to take over, and we've got to do something with these Hebrews. And Pharaoh said to them, Shotim, you fools, you idiots, don't you realize that up till now the food that we've been eating comes from them? Joseph was the one who saved our country during those years of famine, and now you want me to turn against him? I can't do that. So the Midrash says that his ministers said, well, in that case, we're not going to recognize your authority. You are no longer in charge of this country. You may be the Pharaoh. It may come to you through the dynasty, but we're not going to recognize you. And they removed him from his throne. And after 3 days, he said to them, okay, I'll do whatever you say. And he began to persecute the Jewish people. What the Midrash is telling us is something phenomenal. At first, Pharaoh said, I can't go. How can I go against Joseph and his people? They saved the country. We owe them an incredible debt of gratitude. But the only reason why he said that is because he was in power. Once he was removed from power, he would do anything to stay in power, even if it meant to compromise his principles. The opposite of true the opposite, of course, is true of true leadership, great leadership, that their people are prepared to give up their leadership and not to compromise their principles. For example, Moshe said to Hashem, if you're going to wipe out the Jewish people, I want you to wipe me out of the book also. Take me away from it. I don't want to be a leader. I'd rather not be a leader. I'd rather not be alive if it means giving up on my principles and on my values. But Pharaoh wouldn't do that. Pharaoh was more concerned about power and about authority than about integrity. This is an incredible lesson. And because of this, people were persecuted for many, many years. We have to remember that when we're in a position of power, sometimes we may be called upon to give up that power, that authority, and to show what is true, and to have integrity to our values. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.